Close the doors of your mind from all carnal will, all carnal thought, all emotions, all desires, all fears, all laziness, all doubt, all thoughts within oneself, and all of the zara, or the seeds that have been sown by Satan and Satan and his army throughout the week. And bring your mind to balance within yourself, within your cranial nerves, within your hands and your feet, within your corpus callosum, within your 12 lunar antennas, within your 12 cranial nerves, within your frontal lobe, within your hands and your feet and your thoughts, even down to the smallest hair on your head that you cannot number. Bring your mind to balance into the highest order and the highest Shamayim, Yahushua HaMashiach, who sits above the 7 heavens, the Shabba'i Shamayim, above the 13th Shamayim, and the highest Shamayim, above all gods, all kings and rulers and principalities, powers, all beings and all spirits, through the Rakia, all the way to the center of the earth and to the surface of the earth. For Yahuwah Elohim created all things by the breath of his mouth, by his hukmah, his wisdom and knowledge and understanding, his binah hukmah da'ah, and gave life and breath to all creatures and all people of the earth, and allows us to live and to breathe on the surface of the earth. And for some other beings, they allow to live and to exist in the center of the earth, and in the Rakia, and from the first Shamayim to the 7th Shamayim. So this Yom, we acknowledge the one who made all the Har of the earth, all of the Nahar of the earth, all of the Kukab, Yarak, and the Shamash, the sun, moon, and the stars of the earth. The one who gave breath and understanding in the Neshama within oneself, which allows one to live and to breathe and to have understanding within oneself, that one may be able to be enlightened as an enlightened being, if a higher thought and a higher vibrational frequency in their lower self be cast to the ground. So this Yom, as we move forward in kindness, Kasid, kindness, Ahal, joy, Simcha, patience, meekness, temperance, Amunah, self-control. But we will in no wise clear the guilty, not only for ourselves and for others. For that is just in this world. For we do injustice for ourselves, we do an injustice for ourselves on the day of judgment. For when Yahuwah will bring all secret things and all things within ourselves to account, we will give an account for every word and everything that we ever thought within our life from birth to present. And we will have to give an account for everything that we have done inside of this bayit, this temple, this palace that he has given to us to live in. So as we move forward in this life, and as we move forward from this day to the next, we acknowledge him and we focus our thoughts on him continually. For if we don't, we'll find ourselves in darkness. We'll find ourselves in Kashak. Right, so this is the Bereshith, Genesis. This is the book of Genesis. This is the book of Genesis, Bereshith, chapter 1, verse 20. Bereshith chapter 1, verse 20. Bereshith chapter 1, verse 20. And Yahuwah said, Yahuwah Elohim said, let the waters swarm with swarms of living creatures. Right? So look at all the waters in the sea and everything that's in it. He said, let it swarm with living creatures, and let the birds, the oath, fly above the earth across the expanse of the Shamayims, across the expanse of the Shamayims. Right? You look at all the expanse, you look at everything that's all the birds, right? You look and say, why are you saying birds? Because it's important. So Elohim created the great creatures and every living creature that moves, with which the waters swarm across to their kinds, and every winged bird according to its kind. So every winged bird according to its kind, whether it's the eagle, the vulture, the crane bird, whether it's the crow or the raven, he created all of that. And he said after its kind. And Elohim saw that it was good. So he made all of these things, the creatures of the earth that go into the swarms of the water, and the birds that fly in the shaman, he said, it's all good. It was all told. And Elohim baraked them, saying, be fruitful and multiply and fill the waters in the sea. So he told them to be fruitful and multiply and fill the waters of the sea. And let the birds multiply on the earth. Right? Why? Because all these are all a part of Yahuwah's plan. They're all used for his purpose. There's nothing he just uses and it doesn't have a purpose. Everything has a purpose in the earth. And if those things don't fulfill their purpose, then guess what? If he didn't create them, we wouldn't have no salvation. If he didn't create them, we wouldn't know what to do. They are for what? They are here for a reason. And there was evening and there was morning, the 5th day. So we look at the 5th day, we look at the 5th day, we look at, he said, come ye sheep. Right? We look at all these things that happens on the 5th day. This is the 5th month. counting towards the 7th month. When he say the day of rest, like he say 6 days you labor and the 7th you rest. 6 months, then you rest the 7th. Right? All these are a part of it. We're in the 5th month right now. He said, what should one be paying attention to? What should one be thinking about? Right? He's saying, look at the fish of the sea and how they multiply, and look at the birds of the Shamayim and how they multiply. All these are a part of a system that Yahuwah created before you was even born, before 1980, before 1982, before 1965, before 1929. However long one is, if one is 400 or 500 years old, this is a system that's been here for a long time. Right, so this is the book of 1 Peter. 1 Peter. I say Aleph Kaf. Chapter 4, verse 10. 4, verse 7. Aleph Kaf 4, verse 7. He said, the end of all things is at hand. He said, the end of all things, right? During his time, he look at everything that was getting ready that was happening during his time. He said, the end of all things is at hand. Why? Because time does not calculate the same way as it does on earth when Yahuwah is in his throne, from where you are. Time doesn't calculate the same. One day with Yahuwah is 1,000 years. 1,000 years is yesterday, off moon. And it says what? It says, the end of all things at hand. Therefore, be self-controlled, right? Use the fruits of the Ruach. Operate in it. Be sober-minded. Don't get drunk. Don't get drunk. Not only with the cares of this world, but also with strong drink. He said the spirits, right? The spirit stores that you go get some spirits from. He said, don't get drunk with the spirits. And it says, be sober-minded be sober-minded for the sake of your prayers. That's the whole point. Your frequency, your connection. Right? He says what? Do not lean to your own understanding in Proverbs 3. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make straight your path. It'll be healing to your shore and refreshment to your bones. It'll be healing to your umbilical cord, your connection. Your connection won't be off if you stay like this. Because you need your prayers not to be hindered. Above all, keep loving one another earnestly. Keep the habit of not only for Yahuwah's commandments, but also for each other. Earnestly, continually. Since love covers a multitude of sins, since Ahal covers a multitude of sins, right? A multitude. Show hospitality to one another without grumbling, right? You say grumbling, just like any other thing. Hospitality without grumbling. He said, why would you do that? Because Yahuwah did it for you. He's showing you hospitality right now. He allowing us to live in his earth right now, on the surface of the earth. And guess what? He took the grateful and the ungrateful. He even allowing the sun to shine on top of people. And you get what it says. And it says, as each has received a gift, use it to serve one another. He said, use it to serve. He said, if he gave you the time, he said, use it to serve one another. Why? As good stewards of Yahuwah's Elohim's very kind. How you say? As good stewards. He said, use it to serve people. It says, whosoever speaks, so it doesn't matter who you are, male or female. Zakar Nakabah, male animal, female animal. Male child, female child. Right? Whosoever speaks, as one speaks the oracles of Elohim, whosoever serves as if one serves by the strength that Yahuwah supplies in order that every good thing Yahuwah Elohim may be kabod through Yahushua Mashiach. Right? So that word for oracles in 1 Peter, Aleph Kaf, in 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 11, that word for oracles is logium. Logium. That's how they say it in Greek. It means an utterance. He's saying what? Any man speak, he let him speak as the utterance, the oracles of Yahuwah, the utterance of Yahuwah. His oracle, right? So this is the book of Proverbs, Mashali Proverbs chapter 8. Mashali Proverbs chapter 8. Proverbs Mishali, they say Mishali. Proverbs chapter 8. Proverbs chapter 8, verse 16, or I think it's verse 16. Actually, Proverbs chapter 8, verse 1. Mostly Proverbs 8 and 1. It says, does not wisdom call? Does not understanding raise her voice? He said, if any man or woman speak, let him speak as the oracles of Yahuwah. Did he say his utterance? On the heights beside the way at the crossroads she takes her stand. Beside the gates in the front of the town, at the entrance of the portals, she cries aloud, right? Look at every portal. Look at even the door that you go through. Whether it's your bathroom door, your house door, your car door, all these are portals and gateways. It takes you from one place to another. You go from a place that's homey to a place that has the components and AI, artificial intelligence, and you gotta know how to operate in both worlds. He said, I'm jumping worlds every day. Yes, you're jumping worlds every day. You have to know how to operate in the artificial AI world. You gotta know how to operate at a home, in a house. You gotta know how to operate inside of your body. Be sober-minded. Be in self-control. Just like you would be in control of a car. All these are a part of it. You have to know how to operate in both physical and non-physical reality. But it says right here, besides the gates of the town, at the entrance of the portals, he cries, to you, O men, I call, and my cry is to the children of Adam. That's what she's calling to. That's what she's calling to, right? So this is what, go to verse 8, and says, all the words of my mouth are righteous. There's nothing twisted or crooked in them. So that word for all the words, that word for words is amar. Right? That word for words is amar. Right? That word for words is amar. Let me get it right quick. So this, the word for words in 8 is amar. And that means, all the words is amar, which means something said, appointed unto him. It says speech, word, utterance. All the words of my mouth, he says what? Any man and woman or speak, let them speak as the oracles of Yahuwah. They utter it. He said, all the words of my mouth are sadiq. And there's nothing twisted or crooked in them. There's nothing twisted, how do you say, a cash, or crooked in them. It's straight to them, or nakuwak to him who understands, and right to those who find knowledge. It's right. Right, so this is the book of Exodus, Shemuth. The book of Exodus, chapter 25. Shemuth, Exodus, chapter 25, verse 1. Exodus, Shemuth, Exodus, chapter 25, and verse 1. Shemuth, Exodus, chapter 25, and verse 1. And Yahuwah said to Mashah, speak to the people of Yasharal that they take for me a contribution. From every man whose heart moves him, you shall receive the contribution for me. And this is the contribution you shall receive from them: gold, silver, bronze, blue, purple, scarlet yarns, fine twine linen, goat's hair, tanned ram skin, goat skin, acai wood, oils for the lamp, spices for the anointing oil, and from the fragrant incense, onyx stones, stones from the setting of the ephod and the breastplate, and let them make me a sanctuary that I may dwell in their midst, exactly as I have showed you concerning the pattern of the tabernacle, the mikdash, mishkan, and of all its furniture, so you shall make. So you look at all these things, and he asked for a contribution. He said, I need a contribution from all of you. And how do you make all these things that you see? You make them from the ground, the soil, the dirt, from animal skin. You make them from plants. Everything he asked came from the earth. Everything came from the earth. It was no special, some kind of special little chemical mixed up or nothing like that. It was all came from the earth. Right? Guess what it says? Skipping down to verse. Skipping down to verse 31. And it says, and you shall make a lampstand of pure gold. The lampstand shall be made of hammered work. Its base, its stem, its cup, its calyxes, and its flowers shall be of one piece with it. He said, make a lampstand. So that word for lampstand in Shemuth, Exodus 25, Shemuth, Exodus, is menorah. He said, you shall make a menorah, a candlestick, a chandelier. It said, you shall make a candlestick, a chandelier, right? So that word for menorah is a meme, nun, wu, arash, and ha, right? In Hebrew, right? You look at the meme is 40, the nun is 50, The Wu is 6, the Rosh is 200, and the Ha is 5. Right, you add them all up, that's in the upgrade numbers, you get what? 301, which equals to 4. He said, what? Make me a menorah. A menorah, a chandelier. And you look at the 4 corners of the earth. Look at the 4 transition times. He said, make me a menorah. And it's supposed to be like a chandelier, right? You can spell it 2 ways, right? Some people, they spell it without the Wu. If you take the Wu out, it equals to 7. It equals to 295, it equals to 7. What day is? The 7th day. But that's without the nail. When you put the nail in, it goes to all, it's 4. It goes to all 4 corners. He said, make me a menorah. Let's keep reading, and it says right here, it says, and there shall be 6 branches going out of its side, 3 branches of the lampstand out of one side of it, and 3 branches of the lamp out of it on the other side. So you look at all this. He said there's going to be branches going out to the left and the right. 3 of them. He said 3. He says 3 cups made like almond blossoms. He said 3 cups made like almond blossoms, each with calyxes and flower, and 1 branch, and 3 cups made like almond blossoms, each with calyx and flower on the other branch. So for the 6 branches going out of the lampstand. He said 6 branches going out of the lampstand. It says, and on the lampstand itself there shall be 4 cups made like almonds blossoms, and the calyxes and the flowers and the calyx of 1 piece, with it under each pair 6 branches going out from the lamp. The calyxes and their branches shall be of 1 piece with it, the whole of it in a single piece of hammered work of pure gold. He said that it got to have of hammered work in pure gold. And amazingly, it said what? He said, make the lampstand of hammered work in pure gold. He said, make the lampstand of hammered work. What do you need to put a hammer in? You need to put a nail in, a Wu. A hammer got to put a nail inside. Right, so this is the book of Yeshayahu, Isaiah. This book of Isaiah, chapter 22, Yeshayahu 22 and 21. Actually, 22 and 19. It says, I will thrust you from your office, and you will be pulled down from your station. In that day I will call my servant Eliakim, the son of Hilkiah, and I will clothe him with your robe. And what he will do, and will bind your sash on him. I'm gonna take away what you got, I'm gonna give it to somebody else. And get what he said. And will commit your authority to his hand. Your authority, and guess what it says? And he shall be a father to the inhabitants of Jerusalem and to the house of Yehudah. And guess what he said? And I will place on his shoulder the key of the house of David. He's going to place on his shoulder the key, right, of the house of David. It's Yeshayahu, what, 22 and 22, right? So that word for key in Yeshayahu 22:22. Yeshayahu 22:22, reading out of ESV, it says 22:22. It says that key, the word for key is mafteach. Mafteach. It means an opener. That is a key. Mafteach. He said he's gonna be an opener and a key. He said, what? He's going to make him an opener and key. Mafteach, right? So right here, and it says 22. It says, and I will place on his shoulder the key of the house of David. He shall open and none shall shut. He said, man, he going to open that thing and nobody going to shut. Man, he said, who Yeshayahu talking about? Right, so this is the book of, he's like, I'm going to put on his shoulders. He's like, I'm going to put on his shoulders There's a lot of things he's talking about. Right, this is Matthew 16:13. It says, now when Yahusha came into the disciples of Caesarea Philippi, he said to his disciples, who do people say that the son of Adam is? They said, some say the Yahuchanan, the immerser. Others say Eliyahu, and others say Yirmiyahu, and one of the other Nabi'im. He said, man, it could be Yeshayahu too. One of the other Nabi'im. And get what he said? He said to him, but who do you say that I am? Who are you saying I am? Simon Qahalath replied, you are the Mashiach, the son of the living Elohim. Not the dead Elohim, the living Elohim. And Yahusha answered him, Barak are you, Simon, son of Yonah, for flesh and blood has not revealed this to you. He said, your flesh and your blood, your flesh and your blood cannot understand this. Your natural man, your color skin and your blood inside of your body ain't gonna understand things like this. Just like Odi Shalom said, your flesh and your garments ain't gonna understand what I'm about to say to you. Right? And get what it says. But my Father who is in Shamayim, he told you about it. So Yahusha here on earth talking to a man. Then Yahuwah revealed something to a man. Or he said, or a woman, he revealed something to him. Guess what? He said, man, flesh and blood ain't revealed that to you, man. So he's telling Qahalath, recognize who Yahuwah is. They revealed that to you. Because I'm trying to turn you back. Recognize him. And guess what else you need to recognize? And I tell you, you are Qahalath, and upon this rock I will build my body, my congregation, my building, my house. And the gates of Sheol shall not prevail against it. And I will give you the keys of the kingdom of Shamayim. That's why he said, man, remember what Yeshayahu said? Remember what he said? Remember how he said he's going to put the keys on somebody? I'm going to put the keys on somebody. I'm going to put the Mateat. You remember that? And he said, and whatsoever you bind on earth shall be bound in Shamayim. Remember I said that about you? And whatsoever you loose on earth shall be loosed in Shamayim. People saying, why are he doing all that? Then he strictly charged the disciples to tell no one that he was the Mashiach. He said, man, I'm anointed. And I'm anointing other people. All right, so this is the book of, going back, Yeshayahu 22, Isaiah 22, Yeshayahu 22, Yeshayahu 22 and 22, Yeshayahu 22, 22, Yeshayahu 22, 22. And I will place on his shoulder the key of the house of David. Oh, what tribe Yahusha was from? The tribe of Yehuda. He said, the hour cometh in Yuchanan 4:22, and now is when the true worshipers are worshiping in Ruach and in truth. He said, you worship you know not what. We know what we worship, for salvation came from the Yahudim. And get what he said. And he shall open and none shall shut. He said, they ain't gonna shut it. Well, he said, whatsoever you loose on earth shall be, whatsoever you bound on earth shall be bound in heaven. Whatsoever you loose shall be loosed in Shamayim. We activate. He said, I activate. What you loosen? I'm loosening the things in Shamayim. I'm letting them loose. He said, let loose the Malakim. And get what he said. And he shall shut and none shall open. And I will fasten him like a what? Like a peg. Like a tent peg. And gets it in a secure place. And he will become a throne of honor to his father's house. He said, man, a tent peg. He said, I'm gonna fasten him like a nail. With hammer works. I'll make it just with hammer works. Just like a tent peg. And get what it says. And they will hang on him the whole honor of his father's house, and the offspring and issue, and small vessels from the cups to the flagons, to all the flagons in that day, declares Yahuwah of hosts. The peg that was fastened is a secure place. It says, in a secure place will give way, and it will be cut down and fall. and the load that is on it will be cut off. For Yahuwah it has spoken. So he put on it, they will hang on him the whole honor of his father's house. Why do you think Yahushua said, he said, it reproaches those who reproach you, Yahuwah, it fell on me. They put the whole honor of his father's house on him. And guess what? They gave what? And guess what? Why do you think he cried out and he said, why hast thou forsaken me? Why hast thou forsaken me? And he said they gave way. And then he gave what he said. And it will be cut down and fall. And the load that was on it will be cut off. Why do you think he was cut off for us? He said, well, we know in Pesach, if you eat in 11, he said, this soul shall be cut off from among his people, right? Why do you think he was cut off? Why do you think Yahushua was cut off? They gave him the sour wine, and he was cut off from the world. He was cut off from us. Get what he said? For Yahuwah has spoken, because he got to do it. Why do you think, how did he fall? They took him down from the cross. Why do you think they took him down from the tower and put him in a tomb where no man has laid? So this is the book of, going back to Exodus, Shemuth, Exodus, chapter 25. Exodus chapter 25. Exodus chapter 25. Verse 36, 35. 25, 35. Shemuth, Exodus 25, 35. And the calyx of one piece with it under each pair of 6 branches going out from the lampstand. Their calyx and their branches shall be of one piece with it, and the whole of it a single piece of hammered work of pure gold. He said, hammered work of pure gold. You get what it says? You shall make 7 lamps for it. Like I say, the word for lamps is the word for lamps in Exodus 25 and 37. Shemuth, Exodus 25, 37. The word for lamps, 25, 37. 25, 37, that word for lamps is near. That word for lamps is near. He said, you're going to make a lamp. What do you got to do with a lamp? He said, you got to make it with hammer works. That word for lamp is near. It means what? To glisten. A lamp, a burner, a light. A light, candle, is near. So that's noon, yod, and rosh. Noon is 50. The yod is 10. And the rosh is 200, which equals to 260, which equals to 8. He said, what? He said, man, the near, he said, it got to be made with hammer works. And he said, well, how you know it? Because we talk about 8, circumcision. He said, mu. Mazon, balances. Amazingly, he said, put 3 on the right and 3 on the left, with 1 in the middle. Why do you think Yahushua was in between 2 thieves? 3 on the right and 3 on the left. And he said, you got to be balanced. Mazon, 8. Yahuwah equals to 8. The bar equals to 8. Yehuda equals to 8. Why do you think he was a tribe of Yehuda? He said, I'm going to put it all in the house of David. Daoud. Right? That's what it said. But it says right here, near, figuratively. If you take out the yod, just like you do with manure, you take out a word, because you can spell it with noon and rosh, equals to 250, we equals to 7. The same thing. What today is? The 7th day. It means to glisten, to light, to burn. He said, burn. He said, what kind of lamp is this? What kind of lamp is this? This is the book of, I think it's Psalms. Psalms 4. I think it's Psalms 4. So this is the book of, this is the book of Psalms. I believe it's Psalms. Yeah, Psalms 4 and 10. Psalms Tahalim 4. Tahalim 4 and 10. Psalms 4 and 10. It says, hear, my son, He's talking about Adam. And accept my words. He said, accept them. He said, man, sometimes you say, I got to accept something. Yeah, sometimes you just got to accept it. People say, why? Because that's just the way it is. He said, you got to accept it. That the years of your life may be many. People say, I want to live long. He said, how are you going to let me continually burn? Because if you ain't got your lamp burning, you're dead. He said that your life may be many. Because you have 10 virgins, 5 are wise and 5 are foolish. 5 kept their lamps, their manure continually burning. He said, accept my words. It says what? Your days may be many. I have taught you the way of wisdom. How come? I have led you in the path of uprightness. When you walk, your steps will not be hampered. Why? Because you can see. Because you can see. Because you ain't in darkness. You ain't in Qahalath. It says, and if you run, you will not stumble. You're gonna be able to see. It's like having a flashlight on your forehead. You know how people walk down and run down the street with a flashlight on their forehead, or ride a bike with a flashlight on their forehead so they can see? He said, man, in your frontal lobe, it's between your eyes. Guess what happens? You got a manure, and you can see. Because he said the commandment is a lamp, and the Torah is a light. Right, going there. Right, this is Proverbs 6:23. Proverbs 6:23. Right, Proverbs 6:23. For the commandment is a lamp. He say a near. He say, man, keep my lamp burning. He said, it has 7 lamps. The commandment is a near. How many feast cogs are there? 7. The commandment is a lamp. And what lights the way to those days? And they just not even just those offerings, because that's all they are, offerings. The commandment is a lamp and near, and the teaching is light. Receive my words. He said, accept them. It's a teaching is an or, a light, and reproofs and discipline are a way of life. To God, He's going to reprove you. Even Yahushua said, does this also offend you? He's like, accept my words. People saying, why he did that? It says, to preserve you from the evil woman. He said, from the evil woman. Babylon, they call it Babylon. From Ashtoreth, Dagon, Akoros. Protect you from the phantom female spirit, the male and female spirits. They're going to protect you from Ashtoreth and Dagon and Isis. They're going to protect you from the women, the beings of the dead, the goddesses and the gods. It's going to protect you from the evil woman who sits on many waters. He said, why would they do that? Because they're trying to show you what's getting ready to take place. Because it's getting ready to fall. And get what it says, from the evil woman, from the smooth tongue of the adulteress. He said, the full smooth tongue of the adulteress, not just an adulteress naturally, but an idol worshiper. Smooth tongue. They slither like a snake, but it sounds real smooth. He said, with the smooth tongue of an adulteress, of an idol worshiper. And get what it says. It says, do not desire her beauty in your heart, and do not let her capture you with her eyelashes. But he said, why? Because that's what they do. They beautify the eyes, right? They beautify the eye. He said, don't let her catch you with her eyelashes. This is the reason why. This is the Testament of Reuben. This is probably my mind. Testament of Rehoboam. Testament of Rehoboam. And amazingly, how many eyes on the lantern? But here we go. Here we go. This is the book of Rehoboam. Testament of Reuben. Testament of Reuben. Testament of Rehoboam, or Reuben. Testament of Reuben. Testament of Reuben. Testament of Reuben, chapter 1, verse 4. Chapter 4, verse 1. I think it's 4:1. Yeah, 4:1. It says, pay no heed, therefore, my children, to the beauty of a woman. Why he say, don't let her catch you with your eyelids? People saying, why he say that? From the idol worshipers. You see them out here, they got all types of gods. And they look beautiful too. They got smooth words. And they be swaying people right. They get them right there with them. And guess what? It sounds real smooth too. It grabbed their attention. He said, man, Adam and Kuwa, accept my words. Zakar Nakabah, accept my words. It says, beauty of your woman, nor set your mind to their affairs. They got their own mind, he said, to what they do. But walk in singleness of heart, in the fear of Yahuwah. Why singleness of heart? I only got one Elohim. I only got one God I love. I only got one God. Why would I go after another one? He's like, I'm singleness of heart, I only got one. He said, singleness of heart. And get what it says. In the fear of Yahuwah, and expend labor on good works in the study and on your flocks until Yahuwah give you a wife. He's like, what? Why is he saying that to them? Whom he's talking to men, but then he's talking, you got to know understanding in both dual natures. You got to understand as an idol worshiper, you got to understand as an adulteress physically, you got to understand in the spiritual world, you got to understand in all things. Just like we talked about going out of the door of a house, going in a car, walking down the street, walk by the way, lie down and rise up. You got to operate in multiple capacities. You can't just understand on just one thing. You'll never be able to grasp it. And then you'll find yourself following after idols. But it says right here, and expend labor in good works, right? That's what we're supposed to do. He gave the ruach for good works. And on the study on your flocks, because we had shepherdess, and we had both male and female shepherdess. Right? And it says, until Yahuwah give you a wife, whom he will, that ye suffer not as I did. He said that you don't want to suffer like I did. And get what he said. For until my father's death, I had no boldness to look in his face or speak to any of my brethren because of reproach. Even until now, my conscience causes me anguish on the account of my impiety. Yet my father comforted me much and prayed to Yahuwah that his anger turn away from me. Right? So skipping over to verse 5, chapter 5. Chapter 5. Actually, yeah, let's keep going. Let's go to the same chapter, going to verse 7. Actually, going to verse 6. It says, whatsoever I command you, and ye shall not sin. He says, whatsoever I command you, ye shall not sin. For a pit unto the soul is the sin of fornication or adultery. He said, separating him from Elohim and bring him near the idols. That's all it's going to do. That's why he said, don't let her catch you by your eyelids. In the book of Proverbs chapter 6. For the commandment is a lamp and the Torah is a light, is a near. It's a lamp, it's a near. It guards you. Why? Because your lamp can eternally burn. Why? Because he prepared a tent for the sun that you continually lit inside of your body, in your Ahal. You get what it says? And it says, fornication, separating it from Elohim and bringing it near the idols, because it deceiveth the mind and understanding. What he gave Ezra? He gave him a candlestick of understanding. He lit a candle of understanding in his mind. He said a woman in the ordinary of her house is like a candlestick lit. It's just like a menorah lit. Just like a near lit. It's like the lamps lit. They continually burning. And it says, an understanding, and leadeth young men and women into Hades before their time. That's what it do. That's why people die before their time. He's like, man, you die before your time. Exactly. People saying, why do people die early? Because they worship idols. And he said, accept my words, my son, and it will give you long life. For many have fornication destroyed. Man, it destroyed a lot. There are demons that come with it. Who did destroy that enters the house during the Pesach? He said, if you have it on the doorpost, on the gates, on the threshing floor, on the top, and guess what? You were doing everything I said, and guess what happens? The destroyer will pass right over you. And guess what it says? Because thou, a man, be old or noble, a man or woman be old or noble, or rich or poor, he or she bringeth reproach upon himself or herself with the sons of men in derision with Bala, with Satan. Beelzebub. He said, what? He said, why are you talking about with Satan? For ye heard regarding Yusuf how he guarded himself from a woman and purged his thoughts from all fornication and found favor in the sight of Yahuwah and men. The Egyptian woman, if you know the story, you know how the Egyptian woman kept pursuing him, tried to get her taken by her eyelids. And get what it said? And purged his thoughts from all fornication and found favor in the sight of Yahuwah. For the Egyptian woman did many things unto him and summoned magicians, magic spells, magicians, and offered him love potions. But the purpose of his soul admitted to no evil. Therefore, Yahuwah, the Elohim our fathers, delivered him from every evil and hidden death. So we look at these last days, look at moving into what's going to get you delivered from all hidden death and diseases and everything that's getting ready to come. If you're alive during that time. If you don't die before your time. Your thoughts, purging your thoughts. Because your connection, remember, your thoughts have to be in a certain place. And it says, for if fornication overcomes your mind, neither can by law overcome you. Why do you think fornication everywhere? Why do you think all these gods and idols everywhere? Because he knows, if I can get you to just do it one time, eat that, drink that cocoa, drink that drink offering. If I can just get you to do it one time, I got you. Eat that doctrine. Eat that, drink that. That's all, eating and drinking. That's all he wants you to do. He said, all right, if I can get you to do it one time, I got you. That's all he wants. He's very crafty. He's good at it. He said, you got to be wiser than your enemy. Right? So they're going to chapter 5 in the same book. For evil are women, my children, and men. So don't just say, oh, evil are women and men too. It's both ways. It ain't the same. It's both. He said what? For my children, since they have no power or strength over men. Because that's why he said that. Because you have no strength over men. Because a woman never rule over man unless you're a chorus. You know, they try to destroy that. Be like a thalia. And that's another spirit. So that spirit working with that spirit fornication, the idol worship working with another spirit to get inside of the woman to actually say that she got power over men. But in actuality, we're talking about in a different way. We're talking about in a spiritual form. Right? But it says right here, they use wiles for outward attraction that they may draw him to themselves whom they cannot. Whom they cannot, they bewitch with outward attraction. That's what they do. They do television, media, social media. They do the same thing. Billboards high in the sky. When you're driving on the road, they put a billboard up high in the sky so you can look at it. And then your eyes get drawn to it. I want that. He says spiritual wickedness in high places. That's why they put it up. Why do you think the son of Adam had to be lifted up above the people? Why do you think he had to be, that goes beyond before people's head. That's over people's head. Why do you think he had the son of Adam be lifted up and draw people to myself? Why do you think they put the billboards up in the sky when you're driving? I mean, Satan crafty. He knows exactly what he's doing. He said, do you know what you're doing, right? Whom he came out with spiritual outward attraction, they overcome by craft. They use witchcraft, sorcery, magic, necromancy, spirit channels, wizards and warlocks, whisperers. They use other spirits. You get what it says? For moreover, concerning them, the Malach of Yahuwah told me and taught me that women are overcome by the spirit of fornication more than men. Why do you think we're the bride of Mashiach? He said, we're the bride of Mashiach. And in their heart, they plot against men and women. That's the world we live in now. That's the world we live in today. They plot against men and women. And it says, and by means of their adornment, they deceive first their minds. That's the whole point. They come into your thoughts. They got to get in your head. Deceive the minds, and by the glance of the eye, instill the poison. He said, don't be taken by her eyelids. They instill the poison. It's a poison. He said, why would Satan do that? And then, through the accomplishment act, they take them captive. Why do you think we went into captivity? Because we lusted after their beauty. The Persians, the Greeks, the Romans. Why do you think children of Yahshua went into captivity? They were taken by their eyelids. The Moabites. They were taken by their eyelids. They got you. Why do you think they were taken into captivity? Why do you think they were cast out of Jerusalem today? He said, you were taken by the eyelids when they got you. He's like, yep. And he instilled the poison. It says, and then through the accomplishment act, they take them captive. For women cannot force a man openly, but by a harlot's bearing, she beguiles him. Why do you think Shaul said, man, I'm afraid. Even as Kuhl was, how you say, beguiled, he said, so your pure minds be corrupted from Yahushua Mashiach, from pure worship. He's like, man, I'm afraid. They're gonna take you by the eyelids. If any man teach another Mashiach Yahushua, whom we have not seen, don't be taken by the eyelids. He says, your wives and your daughters, that they are, get what he says, they beguile him. He said, flee therefore fornication, my children, and command your wives and your daughters that they adorn not their heads and faces to deceive the mind. Right? He said, no, he said, don't do it to deceive nobody, just because you be acting out the very same thing these idol worshipers do. And these idols do. That's what they do. They want to deceive the mind and grab people. Because that's the whole point. Because every woman who uses such wiles have been reserved for eternal punishment. The demons. How do demons get in the minds of men, women, and children? By suggestions, the evil thoughts in the minds of men, women, and children. He said, most of all, at the end of the age, when they be co-signed the ageless fire, those who will obey them will also be thrown into the fire. As the recognitions of Clement said. And it says right here, for they allured the watchers. They were taken by the eyelids. Why do you think why he says, Adam, son, my son, please don't be taken by the eyelids. For the commandments are limp and the Torah is a light. You ain't gonna stumble. Your near and your menorah are lit, both male and female. Don't be taken. And it says the watchers who were before the flood, for as they continually beheld them, they lusted after them, and they conceived the act in their mind. They did. He said, I got you. I got you. That's why you think they're doing it. He's like, man, why do you think he does it? And guess what happened? For they changed themselves in the shape of men, and appeared to them when they were with their husbands. And the women, lusting in their minds after their long forms, gave birth to giants. We talked about last week. Aholibah, and how they lusted after the Persians, the Greeks, and the men with the purple and the turbans and all these things that they saw. They were taken by the eyelids. And get what it says. And therefore in their minds, after their forms, and gave birth to giants. For the watchers appeared to them reaching even unto Shamayim, where they were like, man, they were like donkeys and horses. Right, so this is the book of going back to Proverbs 3:6-23. It says, for the commandment is a lamp, and the Torah teaching is a light, and reproofs and discipline are a way of life, to preserve you from the evil woman. Or basically the evil woman. He said, why? The smooth tongue of the adulteress. Do not desire her beauty in your heart, neither let her capture you by her eyelids. For the price of a prostitute is only a loaf of bread, but a married woman hunts for it down with a precious life. He said, why? Why would they do that? He's like, man, you hunt down a precious life. Why you think the watchers, man? They like it. He's like, man, we gonna go down here. We gonna do what we have to do. All right, so this is, keep going. It says, can a man carry fire next to his chest and his clothes be not burned? Or can a man walk on hot coals and his feet be not scorched? People do it today. And people say, what is that? You know what that is. You'd be like, that's a sorcerer and enchanter. You know what they say? That's not, that's called faith. No, that's called sorcery and enchantment. That's called, you've been taken by the eyelids. It says, so is he who goes into his neighbor's wife. You might as well just go into somebody's wife. He said, it's the same thing. When they do that, he said, it's the same thing. He says, none who touches her will go unpunished. He said, man, I ain't going to get punished for it. I said, okay. Okay. Whatever you believe in your own mind. It says, people do not despise a thief when he steals, right? So we're going to go back to Proverbs 4. Proverbs 4:18. No, actually Psalms. Is it Psalms or Proverbs? It's Proverbs. Yeah, it's Proverbs 4:18. Proverbs 4:16. Proverbs 4:17. Proverbs 4:17. It says, for they eat the bread of wickedness and drink the wine of violence. Right? And it says right here, actually go back up to verse 10. It says, hear my son and accept my words, that the years of your life may be many. You won't die before your time. I have taught you the way of wisdom, and I have led you in the path of uprightness. When you walk, your steps shall not be hampered. And if you run, you shall not stumble. Keep hold of instructions and do not let it go. He said, don't let it go. He said, don't let it go. Guard her, and for she is your life. He's like, guard it. What was Adam's commandment in the garden? To shamar and abad. To guard it. Instructions need to be guarded. For she is your life. Do not enter the path of the wicked, and do not walk in the way of evil. Don't be taken by their eyelids. Avoid it. Do not go on it. Turn away from it and pass on. Everything one does not need to be getting into. A quarrel, a fight, it doesn't matter. It's like, no. For they cannot sleep unless they have done wrong. There's some people like that in this world. They are robbed of sleep unless they have made someone stumble. What do you think demons do? Shadim do? What do you think they do? They gotta make somebody stumble. They gotta cause some type of thing. Right? So this is the book, this is the dictionary of demons. They gotta do something, right? This is the dictionary of demons. I think this is it. It just popped in my mind. This is right here. Listen, man. This is the dictionary of demons. Right, this Beelzebub. Right, so this Beelzebub. The name of the demon first appears in of course they said the Torah, the Bible, 1 Kings, but it says his name means Lord of the dunghill. He's a Lord of the dunghill. And it says the Lord of dunghill, hence the Lord of flies. Right, he said, what do you mean flies? You know when you go in your bathroom or you go outside and use the bathroom, and you have a bunch of feces and things in your bathroom, or unclean bathrooms that people don't clean, or places outside, you see things on the ground and flies be flying around. He's saying that Beelzebub. It's like that filthy. He says that filthy. Beelzebub, as it appears in the Torah, means prince of Baal, but Zebub is close enough to the sound of Zebo, meaning to make dumb. Right? You ever had your doorbell ring for no reason at all? Yeah, that's how you call it. That's Beelzebub. He ringing your doorbell. Because remember, Yahushua said, I stand at the door and knock. If any man open, I'll come to him and he with me. But guess what Beelzebub did? He'll ring your doorbell, call type of crazy stuff. They even ring the bell at noontime. And the people say, why they ring the bell at that time? Because we know who we're supposed to pray to. Right? But it says right here, to make dumb, he's a twisted, ancient, oppressed. It says worshiping the Middle East deity, which Beelzebub is certainly viewed as a false god, of course. It says, skip down, it says, in matters under the name Beelzebub, is said to join together with, it says it's asterisk, because you know that's a female disc. It says in Lucifer, that's what it says right here, about the rebellion and the fall of the Malachim. He said, don't be taken by her eyelids. What do you think the watchers did? What do you think those women were doing when they made him fall? There was some in Beelzebub, Balial. How you say? They had it in their heart and their mind. Because they were doing it to deceive. You get what it says? You get what it says right here? It says about the rebellion of the fallen of Malachim. And it says going down, it says right here, and it says Beelzebub is said to have the power to transform men into animals, and animals into men. It says he is a sower of discord and helps cast curses and cause harm. He is named as one of the 8 sub-princes who rules over the other demons. You get what it says? The demon Beelzebub is depicted directly as an infernal fly with skull and crossbones and motifs on its wings. You know, people wear shirts like that. And then they be like, oh, I'm good. And he says Beelzebub is listed as the prince of hell. It says Satan, the ruler of hell, Sheol. He is given a very colorful title, a supreme chief. All right, skipping down, it says, this is the last thing. He claims primacy among the demons because he is not the child of an angel, but not the child of an angel, but an angel himself. He further claims to have been the first angel of the first Shema of heaven before his fall. He declared himself to be the Malach of the first heaven. What do you think people getting ready to do? And guess what he says? Sorry. It says a statement that ties him both to Shemjaz and Azazel, the watcher of tradition. It says right here, it's skipping down. But that's it. Right? That's it for that. Right? So this is, he said, here, my son, except, it says, skipping down, it says, skipping down to Proverbs 4:16. They cannot sleep unless they do done wrong. They are robbed of sleep unless they have made someone stumble. For they eat the bread of wickedness and drink the wine of violence. But the path of the righteous, here we go. But the path of the righteous is like the light of dawn. The path of the righteous is like the light of dawn, which shines brighter and brighter into a full day. He said it's just like the shakar. It's just like the ore. Right? The Proverbs 4:18, that word for Proverbs 4:18. Proverbs 4:18, that word for Proverbs 4:18. But the path of the just is like the shining light. Right? That word for shining is naga. Naga. It means brightness, brilliancy, bright, light, clear, shining. Is that nagir? It sounds just like nagir. It's just like a lamp. It's just like a nagir, a light to glisten. He says it's like the dawn. It's like a shining light, bright light, shining, naga. It's just like a shining light. And that word for it says shine. Is it the path of the righteous is like a shining light? Is it the shine? It says like a shining light. Is that word for light is or. He said the light of the dawn. That word for that word for the dawn is or. It means illumination, luminary, lighting, happiness, light of the day, the dawn, light of the heavenly luminaries. Because what is the word for menorah is? A chandelier. On the fourth day of creation, what did he make? Greater light, lesser light. Ma'or gadol. Ma'or means the chandelier. I made you a light in the earth, just like the fourth day of creation. It means to what? Lighting of day, lighting of lamp, light of lamp, or light of lamp, light of life, light of prosperity, light of instructions. My son, do not forget my instructions. Hold it, because it's your life. For the commandments of the lamp and the Torah is the light. It is instruction. It is your lamp. It keeps the lamp burning. It also means light of instruction, light of face. A man's wisdom makes his face to shine. He told his son, he said, my son, I brought you in the way of uprightness and wisdom. It's a woman's wisdom make her face to shine. Why do you think that her face shone? Asinine. Man, he touched me with his right hand. It scared me. It made me afraid. It means Yasharal's light, illumination. He said that's his light. Right, going back, it says brighter and brighter until the perfect day. That word, it says, which shines brighter and brighter until a full day. What do you mean shines? That word for brighter and brighter, people think it says brighter and brighter, but it says shines brighter and brighter until a full day. It shines more and more. It shines. That word for brighter and brighter is halak. They walk more and more. Why? Because their foot not going to stumble. Because it's a lamp and it's a light. They're not going to stumble. They're not going to trip. They're going to run and they're not going to fall. It means to go, to walk, to come, to walk, to transverse, to walk about. Halak. So it means right here, it says, which walk until a full day. It says to a full day. And this is right here, look, this right here, that word for full day. That word for full day, it says, verse 16, yeah, but the path of the way of the righteous, and it says, shines brighter and brighter until a full, perfect day. That word for perfect or full day is kum. The word for full is kum. It means they're going to keep walking and walking. And it says be stable. It means kum. They're going to walk and walk to a kum yum, a firm, stable, established, fixed. A fixed what? It says they're going to a perfect day. That word for kum means perfect. A perfect yum. You're going to walk, it says you're going to walk brighter and brighter until you have a perfect day when you walk. You know how you walk in the day? The whole day you're going to walk perfect. You're going to walk and be established and be firm the whole time you walk it. Just like the sun comes out of the portal and it shines brighter and brighter until it gets to noon. Because you know when at noontime, you're supposed to pray to Yahuwah. But guess what happens today? They bring the bell. But he said, no, you shining brighter and brighter until a perfect day. Why do you think when Yahushua was on the totality, the sun went down from the 6th to the 9th hour? He was shining more and more until a perfect day, to a established, firm union. Right, so going back, it says right here, it says shines brighter and brighter until a full day. Verse 19, Proverbs 4:19. The way of the wicked is a deep darkness. There it is, the lamp then pulled out. Why do you think the sun went down from the noon, from the 6th to the 9th hour? Because they were wicked. In Matthew 20 said, why do you think it went down? The way it is like darkness. They do not know where they stumble. They falling all over the place. They can't perceive their errors. And get what it says. My son, be attentive to my words, and daughter, incline your ear to my sayings. Let them not escape from your sight. Keep them in your heart, in your mind. For they are life to those who find them, and healing to your flesh. They're healing to your basar, your flesh. People say, what's going to heal me? Now, here we go. Keep your heart with all vigilance. What do you think Cobb said? Be vigilant. For your Satan, Satan, that little deceiving person and his beings, they're looking for somebody. I got you. He said vigilance. For from it flows the springs of life. It's supposed to come out of your mouth. If any man speak, let him speak. There's the utterance of Yahuwah, the oracles, because it's going to come from your mouth. Put away from you crooked speech. Why do you think if any man speak, let him speak? It's the oracles of Yahuwah. And get what it says. And put devious talk from you. Why do you think Colossians tells us to do that? You put away crude joking, which is not convenient, and gossip and slander, which spread like gangrene. It's the reason why. And get what it says. Let your eyes look directly forward. You ever had your mother and your father say, keep your eyes, don't you look at that. And gaze, let your gaze be straight before you. Ponder the path of your feet, then your ways will be sure. Right? Ponder the path of your feet, right? So this is the book of, this is the book of, here we go. This is the book of Bereshit, Genesis. This is the book of Genesis. This is the book of Bereshit, Genesis chapter 13, verse 8. Bereshit 13 and 8. Bereshit 13 and 8. Then Abraham said to Lut, let there be no strife between you and me, and between your herdsmen and my herdsmen, for we are kinsmen. Is not the whole land before you? Separate yourself from me. If you take the left, then I will go to the right. Ponder the way of your feet. Where you going? And then what he said? He said, my son, make sure you don't go to the left or the right. Stay straight. And get what happens. Or if you take the right hand, then I will take the left. He said, man, stay straight. Ponder the way of your feet. What's going to happen if you go to the left and the right? Let's see where you end up. And Lut lifted up his eyes and he saw that the valley he was taken by the islands. He saw that Yarden's valley was well watered everywhere. He'd been taken by the islands. Because once you see it, it's like, man, this thing, everywhere like the garden of Yahuwah. It's just like the Garden of Eden around here. He said, man, this thing beautiful. He said, it's just like the Garden of Eden. And get what he said? Like the land of Mizraim in the direction of Zoar. He said, man, just like Mizraim. Man, that place watered like the Garden of Eden. He said, man, look at this place. He's like, man, that thing beautiful. And get what he said? It looked like the Garden of Eden. It looked like it. It said in the direction of Zoar. And isn't that what the world they created today? Let's go green. They're gonna look like the Garden of Eden. They're gonna look. They ain't gonna be doing the things they do in the Garden of Eden. But it says right here, it says in the direction of Zoar, this was before Yahuwah destroyed, that's what they put in parentheses, Sodom and Gomorrah. So Lut chose for himself at Yarden Valley and Lot. It says, so Lut chose for himself all Jordan Valley, and Lut journeyed east. Thus they separated from each other. Abraham settled in the land of Canaan, which Lut settled among the cities of the valley and moved his tent as far as Sodom. That's why don't ponder your feet. Don't go to the left and the right, because Abraham went directly where he's supposed to go. He's like, I'm going where Yahuwah told me to go. I ain't going there and I ain't going there. I'm going where Yahuwah told me to go. And get what he said. And get what he said. And they separated from each other. Abraham settled in the land of Canaan, which Lut settled among the cities and the valleys and moved his tent as far as Sodom. Now the men of Sodom were wicked, great sinners against Yahuwah. Part of the way of your feet. He's like, man, these people are. He's like, man, part of the way of your feet. He said they were wicked sinners. Right. So this is the book of Numbers. This is the book of Numbers. This is the book of Numbers, chapter 10, Numbers 11 and 1. From Midbar, Numbers 11 and 1. It says, and the people complained in the hearing of Yahuwah about the misfortunes. And when Yahuwah heard it, his anger was kindled, and the fire of Yahuwah burned among them and consumed some outlying parts of the camp. Then the people cried out to Mashah, and Mashah prayed to Yahuwah. Right? Notice how Yahuwah did it. First, Yahuwah started destroying stuff. He sent fires. And then the people started complaining to the person that brought them out of Mizraim. Now, if Yahuwah ain't sent no fires and destroyed some stuff, then nobody would be complaining. But had they not murmured, then Yahuwah wouldn't have destroyed stuff, and then you wouldn't get worse and worse. And then you start going after people after Yahuwah. You started murmuring against them, and then you start going after the person whom you think has something to do with it. I ain't got nothing to do with that. Yahuwah here, everybody. Nobody you sit in the house, walk by with me, loud iron, rise up. That's why he said, let crooked speech be put away from you. He said, don't even let it come out of your mouth. If any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of Yahuwah. Had they done it, this would have never happened, but this would happen. And it consumed some of the outlying parts of the camp. And then the people cried out to Mashah, and Mashah prayed to Yahuwah, and the fire died down. He said the fire stopped. You know how they were trying to put out fires with water? He said, man, this is the best fire. This is the best way you can put out a fire. So the name of the place was called ChayParach, because the fire of Yahuwah was burned among them. Now the rabble that was among them had a strong craving. Now the rabble that was among them had strong craving. Right? This is the book of Numbers, chapter 10, verse 4. So that word for Numbers 10 is Numbers 10 and 4. Numbers 10 and 4. Actually, Numbers 11, I'm sorry. Numbers 11, I'm sorry. Numbers 11 and 4. I said 10, but it was actually 11 verse 1, I'm sorry. And it says Numbers 10 verse 4, that word for Numbers 11 and 4, I'm sorry. The Midbar 11 and 4. Numbers 11 and 4 is, that word for Numbers 11 and 4, it says the rabble, but that word for rabble is a pasuf. A pasuf. It means assemblage, mixed multitude, gathered together of people. So it was a mixed multitude of people. Right? That word for ramble, that was among them. That word for ramble is asuf, a pasuf, and it means mixed multitude. Right? Mixed multitude. Right? Mixed multitude. Right? So going over, and it says, Now the rabble that was among them had a strong craving. They had a lust. It was a craving. Because he just said, when Luke left, he's like, man, it's like the Garden of Eden over here, man. He saw it, he's like, man, this place like the Garden of Eden. He said, like Mizraim, water. Mizraim be water. Right? And it said right here, and the people of Yashua also wept again and said, oh, that we had meat to eat. Right? They had a craving. Right? He said they had a craving. That word for craving is Ahal. Right? It means what? Desires, longing after, lust, covet, desire. They had a strong desire for it. It says, we remember, get what it said, we remember the fish we ate in Mizraim that cost nothing. Right? We talked about the fish of the sea when we was in Mizraim. He talked about the fish of the sea, how he made all of them to be fruitful and multiply. But it says, the cucumbers, the melons, the leeks, the onions, and the garlic. Right? They had all that. Because it was water just like the garden. But now our strength is dried up because they fasted. They ain't got no food. He's like, man, we ain't got no food. Because you know your hunger done hit you. And now you're like, man, I'm hungry. And guess what happened? But now our strength is dried up. And there is nothing at all but this manna to look at. That's all we want. Right? So we're going to Numbers 11. He said, all they're looking at is this manna. Numbers 11 and 6. That word for manna, all we got is this man. They got man here, M-A-N, man, meme and noon. All we got is this man. It means literally whatness. What the heck is it? All we got is this man to look at. Notice it said they got this man to look at. It means all we got is this manna. It means we got meme and noon. Right? You add up meme and noon. Meme is 40 and noon is 50. All we got is this man. It equals a 9. He said all we got is this man to look at. And it equals a 9. All we got is this manna. What is this man we got to look at? And Mashar heard the people weeping throughout the clans and everyone at the door of his tent. Because you know he prepared. They had the door of their tent. Because you know he's supposed to have the tent. He prepared the tent for the sun. And everybody at the door of their tent. And the anger of Yahuwah blazed hotly, and Mashar was displeased. Right? So we're going to the book of Matthew. Matthew chapter 27. Actually, Yuchanan chapter 6, verse 65. Yuchanan chapter 6, 65. Actually, 644. 643. Yuchanan 643. John 643. And Yahusha answered them, do not grumble among yourselves. Isn't that what they did? Isn't that what they were doing? Yahuwah like, man, they were grumbling against Yahuwah, burning hot. A fire was kindled against him. You know what he says? No one can come to me unless the Father who sent me draws him. And I will raise him up in the last day. And when they mumbling and grumbling at Yahuwah, same people today too. And get what he says? Is it written in the Nabi'im that they will be? Is it not written in the prophets Nabi'im they will all be taught of Elohim? Everyone who has heard and learned from the Father comes to me. You're gonna come out to me for what? You're gonna come to him for what? Not that anyone has seen the Father except he who is from Yahuwah. He has seen the Father. Truly, I say to you, whoever believes has eternal life. They start mumbling and grumbling, and guess what happens? Verse 48, I am the bread of life. He's like, all we got is this. I wanted the cucumbers, the melons, the grapes, the onions, the garlic, the fish. Remember all that stuff we had? He said, all I got is this man to eat. What the heck is that? What is that? What is that? It's called whatness. What is it? And you be like, man, why they make a song called what? They made millions of dollars off of it. And all they said was what? What? That's all they said. They made millions of dollars. He said, what is it? He said, don't be taken by the eyelids and the craftiness of the words, because you know they crafty. Satan crafty to get you to worship him. And he did it too. He's successful. He succeeded in your community. And get what he says. Whoever believes has eternal life. He said, I am the bread of life. Your fathers ate the manna in the wilderness and they died. He's like, man, they were talking about that manna. Man, all we got is this manna to look at. What are we looking at this manna for? And they were grumbling at him. What do you think Yahushua doing right here? He's like, I'm showing you your sin. And get what he said? This is the bread that comes down from Shamayim, so the one may eat of it and not die. He said, they ate that bread and they died. You see what they were saying about it? You get what he said? I am the living bread that came down from Shamayim. If anyone eats this bread, he will live forever. Don't cook. He said, all I got is this manna to eat. For real? Do you got the mindset of the people in the wilderness? He said, all I got is this bread to eat. He's like, for real? That's all we got, man. That thing good. Or do you have the mindset of the people in the wilderness? They were crumbling and grumbling and mumbling against Yahuwah, fire burning against them. Then they talked, they had cravings. And then they wanted the fish, the cucumbers, the melons, and all these grapes. Are you those type of people? He said, all I got is this bread. And get what he said? Because you want to live or you want to die? Because you know we fasted. He said, man, we ain't got no food out here. He said, I am the living bread that came down from Shamayim. If anyone eats this bread, he will live forever. And the bread that I will give for my life of the world is my flesh. Isn't that what they craved in the wilderness? Guess what it said, verse 52. The Yahudim disputed among themselves, saying, how can this man give us flesh to eat? He did it before. You see who did it to him? I did it for you in the wilderness. You don't remember that? They disputing amongst themselves. Isn't that what they're doing today? They're disputing among themselves, trying to figure out what's going on. Like, how in the world is this happening? What are you talking about? They still trying to dispute. They don't even know. So Yahushua said to them, truly, truly, I say to you, unless you eat the flesh of the son of Adam and drink his blood, you have no life in you. He said, man, you got to eat. Man, all we got is this mon. What the heck is that? Right there they were disputing. They were like, what is he talking about? What? Whoever feeds on my flesh and drinks my blood has eternal life, and I will raise him up in the last day. Man, you're going to come back to life. Man, your strength, you know how they say, our strength is dried up. Our strength is dried up. He was like, I'll give you strength. Just like Shamshun on the cross. When he was between the two pillars. He's like, man, give me strength this one time. What do you think he gave him? You think he gave him some food from Israel? He gave him mom. You know that stuff that people say, what is it? It says, and whoever feeds on my flesh and drinks my blood abides in me and I in him. And the living Father, living Father sent me, and I live because the Father, the Ahal. So whoever feeds on me, he also will live because of me. They were dying of hunger. He like, all we got is this man to look at. What are we going to look at that for? This is the bread which came down from Shamayim, not like the bread that the fathers ate and died. He's like, man, that bread was, they were talking about that bread. He like, they died because what did they do? Man, they started doing all types of stuff with that bread. Matter of fact, they started doing all types of things with that bread. And get what he said? Whoever feeds on this bread will live forever. You know, what we got is man. That's all we got. And amazingly, this is Matthew 27 and 43. Matthew 27:41. Actually, 27:35. Matthew 27:32. Let's go to 33. And when they had came to a place called Golgotha, place of skull, that's what they said, they offered him wine to drink, mixed with gall. But when he tasted it, he would not drink it. And when they had crucified him, they divided his garments among them, casting lots. And they sat down and kept watch over him. They said, well, man, all we got is this man, this bread to look at. All we got is this bread to look at. But they had a real strong craving for a lamb. But all we got is this bread to look at. And they sitting there looking at the bread. He said, I'm the bread that came down from Shamayim. And they sitting there looking at it. He said, all we got is this bread to look at. Amazingly, they mumbling and grumbling to him too. They mumbling and grumbling to the man who came to die for their sins. Who came to save their life. And guess what happens? And they kept watch over him there. And over his head, they put a charge against him in rich red. This is Yahushua, the Malach of the Yahudim. And the two robbers who were crucified him, one on the right side and one on the left. The three branches to the left and the right of the menorah. Why do you think his lamp was continually burning? He said, don't go to the left or the right. Stay straight. And get what happens? And one on the right and one on the left. And those who passed by derided him, wagging their heads, and saying, you who would destroy the temple and rebuild it in 3 days, save yourself. If you are the son of Yahuwah, come down from the cross. He's like, come down from the cross, you're the son of Yahuwah. I am the bread which came down from Shammai. Not like the bread of your fathers ate, and they were dead. Why do you think he the bread? He the bread up there too. When they were sitting there watching him, he said, man, all we got is this man to eat. If you be the bread that come down from Shammai, come down from the cross then. And we'll believe that you the bread that come down from Shammai. Why do you think he said, I am my father are one? You just told them, I am my father are one. Why do you think they mumbled and groaned against him? So the chief priests and the scribes and the elders mocked him, saying, he saved others, he cannot save himself, man. You saved everybody else. You can't save yourself. If he the Malach Yasharah, let him come down from the cross and we will believe in him. He trusted in Elohim, let Elohim deliver him now if he desires him. For he said, I am the son of Yahuwah. And the two robbers who crucified with him also reviled in the same way. Now from the 6th hour there was darkness over the land until the 9th hour. He said, man, darkness is going to be your cover. He said, he's going to darken your lamp out. Why do you think he darkened it? Why do you think he darkened it? Because the lamp of the wicked is going to be put out. Why do you think he darkened it? And about the 9th hour, you should cry with a loud voice, saying, Aliyah, Aliyah, Lama Sabatana, Ma Elohim, why hast thou forsaken me? Give me the strength just this one time. And some of the bystanders hearing it said, this man calleth for Eliyahu. And one of them at once ran and took a sponge and filled it with sour wine and put a reed in his hand and gave him to drink. But others said, wait, let's see will Eliyahu come and save him. But Yahusha cried out with a loud voice and yielded up the ruach. Like, man, he already did it. This is Yukonah 1832. Actually, Yukonah 19. Yukonah 1938. After these things, Yusuf of Arimathea, who was a disciple of Yahushua, but secretly with the fear of Yahudim, asked Pilate that he might take away the body of Yahushua. And Pilate gave him permission. So he came and took away his body. Nicodemus also, who earlier had come to Yahushua, by night came bringing a mixture of myrrh and aloes and 75 pounds in weight. So they took the body of Yahushua and bound it in linen cloth with spices and burial, custom of the Yahudim. Now in the place where he was crucified, there was a garden. Man, they played water just like the Garden of Eden. Man, this place water just like the garden. He said, man, what said, man, he been always, his actual household, his tent went far as Sodom. What do you think Jerusalem was? They were Sodom and Gomorrah. And guess what it says? And this is the garden, and in the garden a new tomb in which no one had yet been laid, because of the Yahudim's day of preparation, since the tomb was close at hand, they laid Yahushua there. He said, what in the world? He said, well, how did he become the bread which came up from Shammai? They took him down from the cross. They took him down from totality. First they were watching him on the cross, totality, and then he brought him down from the cross. When Yusuf came and got him down from him. And then they put him in the tomb. He said, I'm the bread which came up from Shammai. If you eat this bread, you'll have eternal life. Matter of fact, your strength is dried up as it was in the Midbar. 11, they were numbers, strength was dried up. But guess what he said? Right, this is the book of Psalms. This is the book of Psalms. This is the book of Psalms. book of Psalms, Tahalim, Psalms chapter 29, verse 8. Actually, yeah, 29 verse 8. The voice of Yahuwah shakes the wilderness. Yahuwah shakes the wilderness of Kadesh. He said, man, he burned that place up. Why do you think people were mumbling against Yahuwah and he burned it up? You get what he says? The voice of Yahuwah makes the deer give birth, the roe, and strips the forest bare. He's like, man, I burned that place up. He's like, man, Mashah prayed to Yahuwah and the fire died down. You get what he says? And in his temple, all cry kabod. Yahuwah sits enthroned over the flood. Yahuwah sits enthroned as a malak forever. If you be the son of Yahuwah, come down from the cross. But Yahuwah said, if you eat my flesh or drink my blood, he's like, man, you'll have eternal life. But he said right here, verse 11, may Yahuwah give strength to his people. Man, our strength dried up, and all we got is this mon to look at. What is that? What is that? May Yahuwah barak his people with peace. He said, man, he baraked them with shalom. So this is the book of, he said, may Yahuwah barak them with shalom. All right, so this is the pseudeprographa. We almost finished. This is the pseudeprographa. Pseudeprographa. This is pseudeprographa chapter. This is the 4th book of Azra. Book of Azra, chapter, where we at? This is the book, chapter 3, verse 28 of the 4th book of Azra, pseudeprographa, volume 1, chapter 3, verse 28. Chapter 3, verse 28. Then I said in my heart, are the deeds of those who inhabit Babylon any better? Is that why she has gained dominion over some? For when I came here, I saw ungodly deeds without number. He said, what did he see? I saw unrighteous deeds without number. And my soul has seen many sinners during these 30 years. When did Yahushua start his ministry? When he started, 30 years old. When did David rule over Yahshua? 30. He said, these 30 years, and my heart failed me. And he said, man, look at here, my heart almost failed me. You know what it says? For I have seen how you endured those who sin, and have spared those who act wickedly, and have destroyed your people, and have preserved your enemies, and have not shown to anyone how your way may be comprehended. He's like, what is that? He's like, what is that? How is this? What is that? And he says, are the deeds of Babylon better than those of Sodom? I mean, look around today. And it says, or has any nation known you besides Yahshua? He has not dealt so with any other nation. For unto them were committed the oracles of Yahuwah, the utterance. And it says, or what tribes have so believed your covenants as the tribes of your code? Who has done it? Yet their reward has not appeared, and their labor has borne no fruit. Yet their reward has not appeared, and their labor has borne no fruit. What's the fruit? He said, he said the fruits of the Ruach, kindness, Ahal, joy, peace, patience, meekness, temperance, and self-control. He said, they ain't borne no fruit. all their labor, they ain't bear no fruit at all. So are you better than Babylon or Babylon or the kingdom of Nimrod and Mizraim, the children of Ham? And it says, for I have traveled widely among the nations, going and have seen that they abound in wealth, though they are unmindful of your commandments. Now therefore weigh in a balance our iniquities and those of the inhabitants of the world, and so it will be found which way the turn of the scale will incline. It says, verse 35, when have the inhabitants of the earth not sinned in your sight? Or what nation has kept your commandments so well? You may indeed find individual men who have kept your commandments, but nations you will not find. He's like, man, you ain't gonna find a whole bunch of people doing it. He's like, you only gonna find a few people doing it. He said, but a whole people? He said, man, you ain't never gonna, he said, you ain't gonna find that. Right? But this is going to chapter 4. And it says, then the Malak that had been sent to me, whose name was Uriel, answered and said to me, your understanding has utterly failed regarding this world. And do you think you can comprehend the way of the Most High Yahuwah? Then I said, yes, my master. And he replied to me, I have sent to show you 3 problems. If you can solve one of them for me, I also will show you the way you desire to see, and will teach you why the heart is evil. And I said, speak on, my master. And he said to me, go weigh for me the weight of fire, or measure for me a measure of wind, or call back for me the day that is past. I answered and said, who of those that have been born can do this, that you ask me concerning these things? And he said to me, if I had asked you how many dwellings are in the heart of the sea, or how many streams are in the source of the deep, or how many streams are above the firmament, or which are the exits of hell, or which are the entrances of paradise, perhaps you would have said to me, I never went down into the deep, nor as yet into hell, neither did I ever ascend into Shamayim. But now I have asked you only about fire, wind, and the day, things which you have passed, and without which you cannot exist. And you get what it says, and you have given me no answer about them. And he answered, and he said to me, you cannot understand the things which you have grown up. How then can your mind comprehend the way of the Most High? And how can one who is already worn out by the corrupt world understand incorruption? When I heard this, I fell on my face and said to him, it were better for us to not be here than to come here and to live in ungodliness or unrighteousness, and to suffer and not understand why. Right? So he's saying, if you can't understand fire, wind, and he said, and the day. He said, and the day. He said, you can't even understand it. He said, you can't even understand the day. When you read Proverbs 4, he says, the righteousness shines like brighter and brighter until a perfect day. He said, a fixed day. He said, what? Right, this book of Jeremiah 23:22. And it says right here, it says 22:23. But if they had stood in my counsel, then they would have proclaimed my words to my people, and they would have turned them from their evil way and from the evil of their deeds. Am I not a Elohim at hand, declares Yahuwah, and not a Elohim far away? Can a man hide himself in secret places that I cannot see him? Declares Yahuwah. Do not I feel Shamayim in earth? Declares Yahuwah. I have heard what the Nabiim have said, who Naba lies in my name, saying, I have dreamed, I have dreamed. How long shall this be in the lies in their heart of the Nabiim, who prophesy lies and prophesy deceit from their heart, who think to make my people forget my name for their dreams, that they tell one another, even as their fathers forgot my name for Baal. Let the Nabi who have a dream, let him tell a dream. But let him who has the words, my debar, my oracles, let him speak my word faithfully. What has a straw in common with the wheat? Because you will. Is not my word like fire? He said, if you can't understand fire, he said, you can't even exist without it. The commandment is a lamp and the Torah is a light. And correction and reproof is the match. To come. He said, you can't even live without it. It's like flint rock being struck. It says, is not my word like fire, declares Yahuwah, and like a hammer that breaks the rock into pieces, just like a hammer that smashes and makes a golden lampstand, or he said, even a lamp, a near, and a menorah. He said, you can't even exist without it. And get what it says, and like a hammer that breaks rocks into pieces, therefore behold, I am against the Nabiim, declares Yahuwah, who steal my words from one another. He's like, I'm against you. Because I ain't told you. All right, so this is the so this is the book of, going back to that Numbers 11. He said, man, people say, you don't even understand. You can't understand. You can't even exist without it. Right, this is Numbers 11. Numbers 11. Sorry. Numbers 11 and 1 again. Numbers 11 and 1. It says, and the people complained in the hearing of Yahuwah about the misfortunes, and when Yahuwah heard it, his anger was kindled, and the fire of Yahuwah burned among them and consumed some outlying parts of the camp. You get what it says? Now the rabble among them had strong cravings, and the people of Yashua also wept again and said, oh, that we had meat to eat. Right? You get what it says right here, verse 6. But verse 5 says, we remember the fish we ate in Mizraim that cost nothing, the cucumbers, the melons, the leeks, the onions, the garlic, but now our strength is dried up, and there is nothing at all but this manna to look at. What is it? Now the manna was like coriander seed, and his appearance was like the bdellium. The people went about gathering it, and ground it in hand mills, or beat it in mortars, and boiled it in pots, and made cakes of it. Why didn't they beat Yahushua in the head with a reed? He said, what is this man we got to look at? Why they beat me and punch me in the face? That's all we got. The people went about, and get what it says, and the taste of it was like the taste of cakes and baked with oil. And when the dew fell upon the camp in the night, the manna fell with it. And Mashah heard the people weeping throughout the clans, every one at the door of his tent. And the anger of Yahuwah blazed hotly, and Mashah was displeased. And Mashah said to Yahuwah, why have you dealt all with your servant? And why have I found favor in your sight? Skipping through to verse, because their strength was dried up, right? Skipping to verse 11:31. It says, then a wind from Yahuwah sprang up and brought quail from the sea and let them fall beside the camp. He said a wind, right? Numbers 11:31. That word for wind. That word for wind is ruach, because he said their strength was dried up, and all they did was complain. He said, if you don't know the way of the wind and fire in the day, he said, you ain't know where in the world you're going to be able to live. You won't even be able to exist. It says, and the ruach, it means wind, resemblance, it means anger. The spirit, the ruach of Yahuwah. The The Ruach of Yah, the anger of Yah, the blast of Yah, the breath of Yah. The Ruach of Yah. And it says right here, and the Ruach from Yahuwah sprang up and brought quail from the sea and let fall beside the camp, about a day's journey on this side and on a day's journey on the other side, around the camp, about 2 cubits above the ground. Right? So all that came about, but it says right here. All that came about. Going to Numbers 11 and 21. But Mashah said to the people among whom I have numbered 600,000 on foot, and you have said, I will give them meat, that they may eat a whole month. Shall flocks and herds be slaughtered for them, and be enough for them? Or shall all the fish of the sea be gathered together for them, and be enough for them? And Yahuwah said to Mashah, is Yahuwah's hand shortened that it shall not say, that you shall see whether my word will come true or not, true for you or not. So Mashah went out and told the people the words of Yahuwah, and he gathered 70 men of the elders of the people and placed them around about the tent. Then Yahuwah came down in a cloud and spoke to him, and took some of the Ruach that was on him and put it on the 70 elders. And as soon as the Ruach rested on them, they nabud, but they did not continue doing it. He said, man, what do you mean they didn't continue doing it? It says, now 2 men remained in the camp, one Eldad, the other named Medad, and the Ruach rested on them, and they were among those registered, but they had not gone out to the tent. And so they nobbed in the camp, and the young men ran and told Mashah, Eldad and Medad are nobbing in the camp, and Yahusha, the Ben of Nun, said, and Yahusha, the Ben of Nun, the assistant of Mashah from his youth, said, my master, Mashah, stop them. But Mashah said to him, are you jealous for my sake? Would that all Yahuwah's people were Nabi'im, that the Yahuwah would put his Ruach on them? You can't even exist without it. And Mashah and the elders of Yasharal returned to the camp. Then a Ruach came and brought in some food for them. And guess what happened? And the people rose all day and all night and the next day and gathered the quail. Those who gathered at least gathered 10 homers, and they spread them out for themselves all around the camp, while the meat was between their teeth. And before it was consumed, the anger of Yahuwah was kindled against the people, and Yahuwah struck down the people with a very great plague. He said, I got you. Because I was already upset from the first time, you remember. And then the second time, he's like, you know what? It's time for somebody to die. And get what it says. Therefore, the name of the place was called ChayParach Haviyah. It says, because they buried the people who had cravings. Because they buried the people who had cravings. You know, the people who were craving that stuff? He said, all we got is this man to eat. He's like, okay, I get rid of you. He said, I buried those people who had that lust. The only reason I did it is I had to set a trap. Let the table be made a snare and a trap. What was supposed to be for their good, let it be for a trap and a snare. Let it be for a trap. Because I had to trap some people. He would set a trap right in the middle of it. So I got to get some people, I got to get them out. From ChayParach Haviyah, the people journeyed to Haviyah, and they remained in Hazarot. Right, so this is the book of we almost finished. This is the last one. This is cool. Psalms 69. Psalm 69:19. It says, you know my reproach, Psalm 69:19. You know my reproach and my shame and my dishonor. My foes are all known to you. Reproaches have broken my heart, so that I am in despair. He's like, man, Babylon works are greater than song. I looked for pity and there was none. I looked for comforters, but I found none. They gave me poison for my food. Because he caught him with the eyelids. Because with the eyelids, he instilled the poison. They gave me poison for my food. And for my thirst, they gave me sour wine to drink. Let their own table before them become a snare. They thought it was for their good. It was a snare. And when they are at peace, let it become a trap. While they feasting, he said, let it be a trap. Let their eyes be darkened so they cannot see. Let their lamp go out. And make their loins tremble continually. You'll be weeping and gnashing of teeth. It says, pour out your indignation upon them and let the burning anger overtake them. Why do you think Yahuwah was already angry with them in there? And guess what he did? They ended up burying some people. The people had the cravings. May their camp be a desolation, and let no one dwell in their tents. And it says, for they persecuted him whom you have struck down. He said, man, they persecuted me. Whom you struck down. He said, for you so loved the world, he gave his only son. You struck him. He said, man, I struck him down. And get what happens? And they recount the pain of those who you have wounded. The book of Deuteronomy 32, he says, I wound, I kill, I make alive, I heal. He said, you did that to me. He said, Yahushua, his father did it to him. Why he do that? It says, add to them punishment upon punishment. May there be no acquittal for you. Let them be blotted out of the book of living, and let them not be enrolled among the righteous. But I am afflicted and in pain. Let your salvation, O Elohim, set me on high. The son of Adam be lifted up. I'm going to draw all people to myself. For this purpose I came into the world. In Luke 9:12. He says, I will praise the name of Yahuwah Elohim with a song, and I will magnify him with thanksgiving. This will please Yahuwah more than an ox, or a bull, or horns, or hooves. When the humble see it, they will be glad. He said, when the humble, because he's going to beautify the humble with salvation. He said, the humble going to see it, and they're going to be glad. The meek, and they're going to be glad. And guess what it says? Guess what happens after that? You who seek Yahuwah, Elohim, let your hearts revive. Their strength was dried up. But he said, I'm the bread which came down from Shamayim. He said, let your strength revive. All we got is this mon. What is this mon? What is that? And get what he said? For Yahuwah hears the needy. Why do you think he was hearing them? He gave them the food they needed. He gave them the mon. And does not despise his own people who are prisoners. Let heaven and earth praise him, and the seas. We talked about it the 5th month. He said, be fruitful and multiply. He told him about the 5th day of creation. He told the fish of the sea. He told him to be fruitful and multiply. When the whales jump out of the water, what do you think they're doing? When the dolphins jump out of the water, what do you think they're doing? When the fish go in schools and swarm inside of a whirlwind under the sea, like a whirlwind, what do you think they're doing? And get what it says? And everything that moves in them, what do you think they're doing? So for Elohim saved Sion and builded the city of Yehuda, and people shall dwell there and possess it. The offsprings of his servants shall inherit it. and those who love his name shall dwell in it. All right, so this is the last thing, just the Essenes. The Essene of Essenes. The Essene of peace. The Essene. The Essene of, Essene of peace, page 93, the sevenfolds of peace. Sevenfolds of peace. Page 92. It says, at a field of golden wheat, it says, here we go. Blessed is the child of light, or whose lamp continues to burn. He said manure, a near. Who's wise in mind, because he said, my son, I led you in wisdom. And he said, what did he do? He said, don't be taken by her eyelids, or their eyelids. Don't be drawn away by your sight of your eyes. But it says their eyes. It says, who is wise in mind, for he shall create the Shamayim. The mind of the wise is a well-plowed field, which giveth forth abundance and plenty. For if thou showest a handful of seeds to a wise man or a woman, he will see, or she will see in his mind's eye a field of golden wheat. And if thou showest a handful of seeds to a fool, a person who has no knowledge, don't know nothing. But it's better to hear the rebuke of the wise than hear the song of somebody who don't know nothing, a fool. He will see only that which is before him, and call them worthless pebbles. What is it? All they got is this mind to eat. They'd be worthless. He's like, well, we got is this mind. What is this mind? What is that? What is that? They're just worthless pebbles. All they got is this mind to eat. And as the field of the wise man giveth forth grain in abundance, and the field of the fool is a harvest only of stones, so it is with our thoughts. And what they were thinking in their mind, their consciousness, their mind. He said, so it is with our thoughts. Because that's how he deceives the mind in the Testament of Reuben. He said he deceives the mind. As the sheath of the golden wheat lies hidden within a tiny kernel, so is the kingdom of Shamayim hidden within our thoughts. The Malkuth. It's in our thoughts. And get what it says. If they be filled with the power, love, and wisdom of the Malachim of the Shamayim Father, so shall they carry us to the heavenly sea. Be fruitful and multiply. It says, but if they be stained with corruption and hatred and ignorance, they shall chain our feet to pain and suffering. He's like, man, just pain and suffering. It's the reason why you got pain. Because when you're ignorant, you got pain. It says, no man can serve two masters. Neither can an evil thought abide in the mind, filled with the light of the Torah. Because the commandments are lamp and the Torah is a light. And two cars is a way of life. Rebuke, reproof. It's the striking of the flint rock. It's like lighting your lamp. He who had found peace, because Yahuwah will give strength to his people. He will rock them with peace. He will bless them with peace. He will give strength to his people. He will revive their soul, just like he did in the wilderness. He revived them. He said, but when they're at peace, he's like, man, let the table be made a snare. And he got them too. He got them cravings. He's like, I get you. Don't worry. But it says right here, he who had found peace with the mind have learned to soar beyond the realm of the Malachim. Know this peace with our mind. Desire this peace with our heart. Fulfill this peace with our body. Right? And you look at the last thing right here. Last thing right here, skipping down. It says, Barak is the child of light who is pure in heart. Barak are the pure in heart, for they shall see Elohim. It says, for he shall see Yahuwah. For as the heavenly Father, has given thee his Kudash Ruach, and thy earthly mother has given thee her Kudash body, so shall ye give love to all thy brothers. And thy true brothers are all those who and sisters will do the will of the heavenly Father and the earthly mother. let thy love be as the sun. Because he prepared a tent for the sun. He said, let your love be just like the rays of the sun. Just like Yusuf in the house that touched with the 12 rays of light that touched everybody in the house. He said, just like that. That's how a woman clothed like the sun. Man, she had 12 stars on her head, on her crown. But it said right here, he said, let your love be like as the sun, which shines on all creatures of the earth. And then Yahuwah said, allow your sun to shine on the grateful and the ungrateful. He's like, man, all the creatures of the earth even know this. So you telling me the groundhog know this? He's like, yeah. So you telling me the condor know this? The canaries know this? The parrots know this? Everybody know this? The whale know this? The fish of the sea know this? They said, man, we know this. Even the book of Job say, ask them, and they'll tell you. Job chapter 12, EU chapter 12, you go read, he's saying, they'll tell you. The hand of Yahuwah did all this. They know it. And it says right here, let the love be as the sun which shines on all creatures of the earth, and does not favor one blade of grass, but it get everything, for another. And this love shall flow as a fountain, from brother to brother or sister to sister, and as it is spent, so shall it be replenished. For love is eternal. Ahab is stronger than the currents of the deep waters. Ahab is stronger than currents of deep waters. He's at a Bering Strait, one of the deepest parts of the world. But it says right here, Ahab is stronger than death. And if a man have not love, he does not build a wall between him and all. He does build a wall between him and all the creatures of the earth. You don't have love. And therein doth he dwell in loneliness and pain. He said, in loneliness and pain. What do you mean? Or he may become as angry as the whirlpool, which sucks into its depths all that floats to near. For the heart is a sea. The heart is a sea with mighty waves. So the heart is a sea with mighty waves. That means he got fishes in it. He made it on the 5th day. We in the 5th month. And he get what he said. You get what it says? And love and wisdom must temper it. Because if you don't know it, guess what happens? You know the fish in the sea? He said, man, you just start destroying them. You don't even care. It says, because he put Adam over it. So it is within our thoughts. It says, and as the warm sun breaks through the clouds and quiets the rest of the sea, he hath found peace with his brothers and sisters, hath entered into the kingdom of love, and shall see Elohim face to face. Know this peace with our mind, desire this peace with our heart, fulfill this peace with our body. He's like, what? Right. So, it's probably my mind. This is the book. First Corinthians chapter 13. 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 1. 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 1. It says, if I speak in the tongues of men, Adam and Malachim, and Malachim got a language, Lashon. He said, I commune with them every morning. He's like, I do all this, but have not love, I am a noisy gong and a clanging cymbal. He's like, I don't even got no love. Aha. He's like, it's greater than all that. If I have prophetic powers and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, if I have all amunah, so as to remove mountains, but have not Ahab, I am nothing. If I give away all that I have, and I deliver up my body to be burned, but have not Ahab, I gain nothing. Ahab is patient and kind. Ahab does not envy or boast. It is not arrogant or rude. It does not insist on its own way. It is not irritable or resentful. It does not rejoice at wrongdoing, but rejoices with the truth. Ahal bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Ahal never ends. You have eternal life. It doesn't stop. It's infinite. It never ends. It's infinite. It goes beyond this world, the sea that you see naturally with your eye, the sea that's in your mind and your thoughts, the force that's in your own body. As for prophecies, they will pass away, and as for tongues, they will cease. As for knowledge, it will pass away. For we know in part, and we know in part, but when that which is perfect is come, the partial will pass away. He said, when the perfect day comes, it shine brighter and brighter to a perfect day. As the more you halak in love, it'll shine more and more to a perfect day. And the old person will pass away. It says, when I was a child, I spoke like a child. I thought as a child. I reasoned like a child. When I became mature, know this speaks with our body, with our mind, fill it with our body. When I became mature, I gave up childish ways. For now we see in a mirror dimly, but then face to face. Now I know in part, then I shall know fully, even as I have been fully known. So now Amunah, hope, and love abide, these three. But the greatest of these is love. Ahal. The greatest of them is love. Right, so going back, last thing, I promise this is same book, the Essenes. Going to the flowing streams, and then we're done. This is right here. This is page 265. Page 265, the Essene Communions. This is page 265. It says, and on the sixth evening after the Shabbat, say these words to Malach of wisdom. Descend on me and fill with wisdom all my thoughts, and know the Son of Light, or that your thoughts are as powerful as the bolts of lightning that stabs through the storms and splits asunder the mighty tree. It was for this that you have waited 7 years to learn how to speak with the Malachim, for you know not the power of your thoughts. Use then with Hakmah in all you think, and say and do. He said, use wisdom in all your thoughts, and say and do. For I tell you truly, that which is done without wisdom is as a riderless horse, mouth foaming and eyes wild, running crazed into yawning chasms. But when the Malach of wisdom governs your deeds, then is the path to the unknown realms established, and order and harmony governs your lives. And these are the communions with the Malachim which are given to the sons of light, that with bodies purified by the earthly mother, the spirits purified by the heavenly Father, Shamayim Father, they may command and serve Malachim continually from period to period in the circuits of the day. They shine more and more into a perfect day in the circuits of the day. And in the fixed order of the 7 celestial circles, with the coming of the light from its source, and the turn of the evening to the outgoing of the night, the light, at the outgoing of darkness, and the coming in of the day, continually in all generations of time. Just like the sun. This is the last thing. The truth is born out of the spring of light. And he said, what springs up inside of you? The fountain, the spring of life. The fountain of life. The truth is born out of the spring of light. Falsehood from the well of darkness. What keeps the menorah lit and the near lit? The Torah is the truth, and it's the light. It says, the dominion of all the children of truth is in the hands of the Malachi of light, so that they may walk in the way of light. Qahalath are all the sons of light, who have cast their lot with the law, with the Torah, and walk truthfully in all their ways. May the Torah barak you with all good and keep you from all evil, and illuminate your hearts. Illuminate. Or the path of the righteous as a shining light, shining more and more, or Qahalath, to a perfect day. It's the last thing. It says, with insight in all things, into the things of life, and kind and grace, you with knowledge of things eternal. So as we look at all that, we look at the truth of Yahushua Mashiach, look at the menorah, look at the near, look at the shining light, we look at the understanding, knowing that the cravings of the Torah allows one's lamp to continue to burn. Knowing that even though we have all these cravings in our life and the cravings that we want to do in life, that go with according to the flesh, knowing that the desire for Aman, he said, what is it? He said, I'm the bread which came down from Shemayim, which is eternal life and allows the light and the lamp to continue to burn and to satisfy you and to barak you with peace and to give strength to your body when one is faint-hearted. But we look in this world, we live in this world, we're not of it, and we walk according to the Torah. Even at 6 days you labor, and the seventh you rest. Knowing that 6 days you labor even coincides even to six mu'ahs, even 6 months, and then you rest the 7th. Knowing that we're in the 5th month. They say the 5th month, where all the fish of the sea, the birds of the Shemayim were commanded to be fruitful and multiply. And they're all for Yahuwah's purpose in the earth. And even for their purpose, they can also be used for an evil purpose. As Yeshayahu chapter 8 even said. But at the same time, as we move forward in wisdom. We move forward in knowledge and da'ah. He said, be vigilant with our eyes open. Not to catch somebody with the eyelids to deceive, but to keep our eyes open for those who are trying to deceive. For the meek shall inherit the earth. The meek shall inherit the earth.